Hello out there. We're on the air. It's a curling day today, live from the San Francisco Bay Area, as we're providing you with the latest coverage from the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns presented by DoubleTakeout.com. This is your host, Ryan, where we have a very interesting contest here on our feature sheet. Is a game between two teams that have their roots at Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona. We have Team Murray, who are entirely from Coyotes, taking on Team Maxie, a previous mixed playdowns champion. Team Maxie hails from Coyotes, capital of Dakotas and San Francisco Bay Area. Maxie is playing shorthanded. We'll get into that in a moment. And this is going to be a very crucial game as this is their last game of pool play. We have one more pool play draw after this at about 5. Um, as teams are doing their final slides, it does appear that Maxi, by the virtue of having drawn their rock closer to the center than the opposing team, has the hammer to start the game. As the skips make their way down the ice, we are about to get underway. We'll definitely keep you updated about the games happening on the other sheets. We have all 5 sheets in play for the last time this event. After this, we're going to cut down to 3 or fewer sheets, leading to tomorrow's semifinals at about 8:50 a.m. Pacific and our 12:20 final. And that's all coming up on the MoPac YouTube channel as the lead for Team Murray, Kimber Maroney, gets her first shot underway. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy to be here. It's been a good weekend so far, and I think this game is going to be a cracker. You can see behind Sean Murray on the right side that there are clocks. Each team has a clock of their own, and it's 30 minutes total. You can see that the yellow clock started as the person throwing the lead rocks for Team Maxie, Dan Baresh, throws his first stone. And going for a takeout. Uh, Normally in mixed fours, you have 4 players, and Team Maxie did have Gabrielle Coleman set to play for this event, but she is unavailable this weekend. So she's definitely missed, but the teams can play as 3, and we're seeing that today for Team Maxie. So the takeout was accomplished, and the shooter rolled to the wing. And so now Kimber is going to take that on with a takeout of her own. And if you guys have any questions, we have the YouTube chat open. To quote Fraser Crane, we're listening, as it were. So just feel free to drop a comment in the chat. If I see it, I'll do my best to respond to it in a professional and respectful fashion, as you have come accustomed to. All right, Dan's net stone is coming down the way. Hit and roll, rolled back towards the center. So now they're going to take it on down the middle. And that shot is made. The shooter itself rolls to the right, the upper part of the house from this view. And Murray is going to again take it on. So this is kind of the end I envisioned for some of the competition where, teams are trying to get a read on the ice. And so they're just trying to kind of try and keep a clean sheet by hitting the stones when they can. As we see Brandon Ellison's first ruck come down for Team Murray. And again, that shot is made. And so now Maxi is going to do a hit. So of all the first ends that I've seen so far, this one is probably going to be a blank, barring some error or unforeseen happenstance. is going to hit, and it's actually going to roll to the back of the house out of play. So that could potentially be the happenstance, as now Murray is asking for a guard for Brendan to throw. Also, one of the advantages of throwing a takeout game, especially to start the game, is that it doesn't use a lot of time on the clock. Teams usually want to spend less than 3.5 minutes per end of thinking time. And they usually want to throw the opening ends more quickly so they can save time for later in the game when the shots might get more complicated and they really need to think about what to do. So that's a guard. And so now the dynamic of the end has changed drastically as Michelle Wadner gets set for her first stone, the vice for Team Maxie. So with that guard in place, now Maxie is going to try and draw around the opponent's guard and sit in the house to potentially score, or at the very least reduce the scoring area for the opposing team. Maxie jumps out to help. It's kind of one of the tricky parts of being shorthanded is that you have one sweeper per rock unless the skip comes out to help or the person throwing the first rock jumps up to help. Um, it can lead to a long weekend if you don't plan for it properly. As Steph Larson delivers her first, the third for Team Murray, curling for 25 or 30 years? Question mark. This is on the guard. And so it does split the guards to the wings. And so I still think there's a 40% chance of a blank in this end. One of the interesting things about curling is that it's it's a game of skill and finesse and also strategy and numbers. Looking at the statistics as Maxie comes out to help this time. They were hoping to draw around that red, I believe, but it's not curling. That's a interesting shot. So I joked about the percentage of the chance this end finishes in a blank, and I'm sure there's someone out there that does have the stats about if this scenario happens, this is the odds of it turning into a blank. So I think the odds of it turning into a blank increased with that missed shot there. As Steph throws her second stone, then Murray's yelling for a sweep. It's going to hit and roll to the side. Is it going to get under that corner guard? It does not. So I think the odds of the blank are increasing again. I think we're back up to about, I would say, 65%. And I say that because the rocks are exposed, and that means that the other team can make a play on those rocks. And so now Maxie was asking Michelle to throw a double. Or just the one. I don't think the double was there necessarily. And then the yellow rolls to the center, not covered. So we're just skip stones. Murray does not have the hammer. So he makes his way down the ice as Steph has the broom down. And I think, again, looking to hit and roll under the yellow guard that's just off the center. Looking for that hit and roll. And it hits and it rolls towards the edge of the ring and actually hits the sideline and is out of play. So now I think the chances of a blank are back up to about 80%. There's some cover for Maxie to hide behind. And so I think he wants to make a shot to find cover and then kind of force Murray to pick it out or draw down to it. So maybe the odds are about 70% for a blank. The broom's down for a draw, so this will be a good time to check how long it takes for the stone to cross over the hog lines. The hog lines are those blue lines towards the bottom of the screen. And curlers use the split time between those 2 points to determine how fast a rock is moving down the ice. Usually more for determining the speed throughout the course of a game, not immediately for the sweepers. The sweepers use a different split time, usually from the back line to the hog line to see if they need to sweep it right away or to get a good judge of the speed. So this is about 15.6, and it is going to be a little light as we look at the button cam. It just turned into a guard. So then Murray's going to use that opportunity to draw around it. That could have been what they were looking for, but Maxie is kind of shaking his head. And so I think that could have just been a little light. 15.6 is a bit light for the ice for this weekend. We've been seeing about 14.4, I believe, hog to reach the T line. So let's see. Let's time Murray's here. Skip Sean Murray's last rock. He's been curling for 22 years. So that's 15:03. So it's about a just over a half second faster, and it's going to get into the top of the house, but it is in a place where Maxie can get to it. So I do believe that the odds of a blink happening are about 95% now. I think Murray would have liked to have gone maybe a little deeper and buried. It's going to be pretty easy for Fred Maxey to pluck that out. Trying to see where Dan went. Oh, he's by the he's hiding behind the houses. There's Dan. This is Fred Maxey's last here in the first with the hammer, looking for the peel. It's gonna hit. It's gonna roll and stick around for a single point. So you can use as many statistics as you would like, but there's always a chance that that outcome could happen. And that's what we saw here as Maxey is forced to a single point. Team Murray has the hammer. When we come back to the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns, live from the San Francisco Curling Club, San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, and coverage of this event is being presented by our partners at doubletakeout.com. Doubletakeout.com is a site for curling stat geeks. We've been talking about statistics. I swear I wasn't thinking about doubletakeout.com when I was doing so, but if you check out doubletakeout.com, you can see how proprietor Ken Pomeroy crunches the numbers throughout the curling season to see how your top team ranks against the others. Men's, women's, mixed doubles, and more. That's at doubletakeout.com. And for us, we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to check out the Around the Rings coverage to see how games are going on the other sheets. And as always, you can see those games the line scores from those games at bondspieler.com. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns, coming to you live from Oakland, California. Taking a quick trip around the rings. Again, you can check out all these scores at bondspieler.com. Going from right to left on sheet 1, we have a contest between Team McDonald of Coyotes, Seattle Granite, and Wine Country, playing with the Red Stones, taking on Team Leclerc from Coyotes. Leclerc converted the hammer to take 2 in the first. They're up 2-0. Leclerc playing with the Yellowstones. Sheet 2 is our feature sheet. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Maxie with the Yellow Rocks was forced to a single point with the hammer. They're up 1-0 over Team Murray with the Red Rocks. Sheet 3, the contest between Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling of Utah and Dallas Fort Worth Curling Club. Pomeroy started the game with the hammer with the Blue Stones and was forced to a single point against Team Barajas of San Francisco Bay Area. On sheet 4, we have a good contest between Team Endicott of Coyotes playing with the Red Rocks, taking on Team Siggins of Coyotes, Denver, and San Francisco. No score posted yet. We'll find that out in a moment. And then on sheet 5, all 5 sheets in play this draw, we have Team Barajas of San Francisco. No, sorry. We have Team Grow of Wine Country and Coyotes taking on Team Howells of Hollywood. Howells had the hammer and took 2 in the first. They're up 1-0. And so you can check out all those game scores at bondspieler.com. Shifting now to our feature game. Murray has the hammer here in the second end. I'll update the scoreboard in just a moment. As Brandon throws his first stone as second in this end. Murray has definitely got the pipes. It's around the center guard, and it ticks out the other center guard. Pushes that center yellow rock through the house. Still in play, it looks like on the back of the sheet, and then the shooter rolls to the wing as a bit of a corner guard. So Maxie was talking over the options with Michelle Wagner. Looks like they're going to put up a rock in the top of the house. And this looks like it will be pretty close to on the money. It might overcurl late here. So it does overcurl. I think it does give Murray a chance to hit. Looking for backline weight as he has the broom down, hoping to tap that yellow, maybe. I think what they maybe want to do is maybe hit the yellow on the side and push it to the side of the house, out of the way. As Brandon's shot is away. Really yelling for a lot of it. Ah, so it overcurled. It hits the yellow rock pretty thickly, and it just ran the yellow back onto the red. And so now yellow is sitting shots, but Murray is sitting 2-3. As a Wagner delivers her second. I think they were just hoping to pluck out that Maxie. Oh, sorry, that was Murray. That was Maxie. There's Maxie and Murray, and both teams have Coyotes roots, so it's going to be interesting for me to keep track of the teams. So Murray with the red rocks. I think it's just maybe looking to draw and maybe then tap that yellow back now. It's uh, by Maxi tapping out that red, it did create a bit of an opportunity for Murray here in the second end. As this is Steph Larson's shot. So this one didn't curl enough. Goodness, trying to find that right line has been tricky. So that one didn't curl enough. It just barely kissed the shot Yellowstone on the button and pushed it further undercover. So now Murray might be in a bit of a jam here in this second end as Maxi has the broom down for Wagner. And her shot's away. I think just looking to kind of close the door and really force Murray to throw some magic here to make it work out. So this is going to crash on the guard and roll into the house, kind of on that draw path that Murray's been using. And so Murray's kind of shaking his head, I think kind of wondering what to possibly do here. I think you got to try and open it up at this point as he gestures for that. He has 3 shots to go in this end. So it looks like they do want to open it up. They want to take out that yellow that was just thrown, maybe get that moving, and I think maybe hopefully having the shooter roll under into the house as Wagner delivers her last here in the second. Lots of weight. Let's see how it turns out. It gets one, and then the shooter rolls, and it jams on that yellow that was in the back, not in a scoring position. And that red shooter is also not in a scoring position. So it looks like I think Maxie is just going to put that guard back up as Wagner didn't take any time to put the broom down for her skip. Looking for a draw to the guard zone. So I think he threw like a 15-6 in the last end. I think that would be really good this time out. Let's see what he does in terms of the split time between the two blue hog lines. It's a little, he had a little ad. Let's see how much of a difference it makes. I got 13.75, so that was heavy, but that's what he wanted, and that looks really good because it puts another stone into the house, into the storing circle, storing area. So 13.75, that was heavy, and so that probably would have gone to the back eight if it didn't impact those other stones. Maybe the back 12. So there's not really a double there, but also the storing area has now been reduced to the 4 foot area, the gray circle that those two yellows are in. So Murray needs to try and open things up without kind of making a situation maybe worse than it is currently. As Larson has the broom down, I think looking to maybe board weight just to kind of shuffle those stones around. This is Sean Murray's first with the hammer here in the second end. This is up weight is 12-3. Oh, interesting. It didn't. It stayed out wide, and so it actually clipped off the yellow that's in the yellow ring, the 8 foot ring, and redirected towards the button. Kind of jostled the stones around, but it does appear to be a maxi sitting shot stone, with the Murray stone now second. Although Maxi is going to try and pick that rock out and be sitting 3 or 4. So we do have upgraded microphones on the ice for this event. As we see Max's delivery, a little bit of positive ad, looking for a takeout weight here. So that's going to glance off of the Yellowstone. I think the rods are hanging out more on that side because I think it looked like it fooled both Murray and Maxi. And so now Murray is trying to see how to possibly get 2 points out of the situation or to get at least 1 point. And so it looks like I think they're trying to hit the red on the side onto the yellow and then like kick the yellow out enough for red to be 1 point. So this is going to be a shot for one, I believe. And then also this is also the side of the ice where the rocks have been running straighter, at least so far we've seen in this end. As you watch the game of curling, you watch the ice to see how the rocks move across the ice. Sometimes they stay relatively straight, and sometimes they really dig in and curl a lot. Let's see what happens here with Sean Murray's last rock here in the second end. Looks pretty close. Larson's calling for a finish here. It's a little light, actually. Ooh, oh my goodness. Very close, but it was still just a smidge light. It's going to be a steal of one for Team Maxie to take a 2-0 lead over Team Murray. We'll be back in just a moment when we come back to the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns presented by DoubleTakeout.com. Welcome back to our coverage of the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. This is your host, Ryan. We've got a pretty great game developing on sheet 2, but we have a great game on almost all the sheets as we see Dan Baresh throwing lead stones for Team Maxie. Dan is a member of 6 state championship teams in North Dakota. Also, he's played in 10 national championships, 4 mixed nationals, 1 club, 4 senior, and 1 mixed doubles. He's also played in 3 challenge round events for mixed doubles and men's qualifiers. And you notice that the pinnacle of his curling experience is having traveled almost 87,000 miles to Bonspiels with Michelle Wagner. As we see the opening stone for Kimber Maroney, who's been curling for 6 years. She's been to she won the C event at the 2025 and under national championship. She also was at the recent 2023 5 and under national championship. Also a champion for the Pacific Northwest Curling Association 5 and under 2022, and also scored an 8-ender in 2019, which is where all your rocks count and the other teams don't. Looks like Murray put up a high corner guard there as we see Dan's second stone here. So when you're playing with a 3-person team, and as we noted, Team Maxie is shorter player due to unavailability. So when you have 3 players in the 4-person formats, the first 2 players throw 3 stones each, 3 rocks, 3 rocks, and then the skip throws the last 2 rocks, and that adds to 8. 3 plus 3 plus 2 equals 8. So that rock is a center-ish guard, but it is not on the center line. So the relatively new no-tick rule does not appear to be in play for that rock. The no-tick rule is very similar to the free guard zone rule. So it's in effect until after the 5th rock of the end is thrown. And then after that, the other team can throw to basically take out the other stones without running risk of making an error. So Murray made a play on the stone in the house, ended up tapping back to yellow towards the center, and the shooter stuck around. So now Dan is going to, I think, just hit and roll. So this, it's curling the wrong way. Sorry. It's doing a counterclockwise right to left rotation, and it just went through the house without making contact with everything. So I think it was either the wrong turn or the wrong ice. Could be the wrong weight. And so now Murray is asking Brandon Ellison to take out the shot stone down the center there. Brandon's been curling for 6 years. He has a very similar experience to Kimber, where he was also the C event winner at the 2020 5 and under national championship. That was a good take out there. Also was at the 2023 5 and under nationals and also the Pacific Northwest 5 and under champion in 2022. So now teams are trading hits back and forth as Michelle Wagner gets set. And so Michelle's been curling since 2003, participating in 8 qualifying national events, 2 non-qualifying events, and an Olympic trial. Ooh, that's around the guard. It's going to hit and roll, but it's going to roll across the house, through it and out of play. So it's a good takeout. It does open things up. And so now Murray is going to try and draw around that center guard. He could take out the center guard, but it's some protection to hide behind. And depending on the caliber of the team, especially at this level, if you leave a rock that's open, the other team is going to try and hit it out and will almost certainly make it. And so this is going to be a little on the heavy side, but the line is perhaps the most important part, and it's not going to curl all the way around that. So the ice is just maybe a smidge wide. And so it looks like Maxie is just going to do some cleanup here, asking Michelle to hit that red that's on the wings. So this is pretty close. Looking for a hit and some roll, I believe. It's going to be more of a nose. Oh, but it rolls over on top of that shot red, almost corner frozen. So it looks like a pretty good shot there by Michelle Wagner. And so now Murray looking what to do there. Look to be maybe trying to hit the inside of that yellow to squirt that yellow out the side as Steph Larson throws. She's been to Miss National Championship in 2015. Was also at the Olympic team trials in 2010. Multiple women's national championships appearances and multiple juniors appearances, winning the national championship in 2005. Ooh, this is looking really good. It does chip the yellow, which jams on that red in the back, but it moves things around. Murray is now shot again and third stone, while Maxie is sitting the second. So I think looking for some curl. Looks pretty close. It's going to hit the yellow, sorry, hit the red back. So I think there's not really a double there that Murray wants to take on. So I think they basically just want to do something very similar to what Larson just threw, a gentle hit and roll essentially to hit the yellow. Uh, oh, this is much more weight, but definitely looking for a hit and roll here. Murray calls him off. It looks like it's over curling. It does hit and barely misses jamming by the hair of his chin. The shooter itself rolls wide, and so now the 4 foot ring is open, as you can see from this overhead shot. Maxie, I think, will want to try and hit and roll. Needs to get rid of one of those Murray stones, and I think also be in a position to store himself, kind of maximizing his opportunity here. I'll try not to use that pun too often, guys. So the broom's down, and let us see here. I definitely think they're going for a hit and roll. Going to do a counterclockwise out turn as Fred Matzy gets into position. He's been curling for quite some time. He's been curling so long. He is an 8-time mixed nationals participant and a 2016 champion. Also won the U.S. Senior Championship in 2020. It was also the 2022 MoPac mixed champion. So definitely have a very recent champion on the ice in the team. This whole Maxi squad was on that 2022 team. It's going to hit the yellow. Sorry, it's going to hit the red onto the yellow. So it pushes things back. Uh, Murray is still shot, and there's still a lot of Murray stones in the house. So I think now Murray is going to try a hit and roll based on kind of where he positioned the brooms. He's going to throw a decent amount of weight of it, and he wants to hit just on the inside of the center there. So he's going to probably throw what we call control weight at that stone, and that's a takeout weight. It's fast, but it's not fast enough, or it's still a little slow enough so that the sweepers can control uh, the the direction of the stone, whether to keep it straight or to try to maybe curl it a little bit more. So looking for a hit and roll here. This is Sean Murray's first here with the hammer here in the third. He's been curling for 22 years. Was a club national champion for men's in 2022. Also has been to the mixed national championship 11 times, including reaching the semifinals 9 times, winning bronze 4 times, and silver twice. So again, the pedigree of these curlers is superb. This is over curling perhaps. They're fighting to hold on, I believe. It does, the yellow gems in the back there. It's pushed to the back 12, where it's still very much in play. The shooter does not roll, I think, as much as Murray may have wanted. So I believe Maxi is going to hit and roll under just ever so slightly so that Murray can't really pluck out that Maxi stone with Murray's last. You can see that the teams have like goldenrod, orangish colors. Oh, Maxius is coming down to take another look at this, as does Dan. So they're taking a look at this situation. He may have gotten to the hack and saw something that he wasn't quite sure of. So both the whole squad is coming down to take a look at it. They have 20 minutes and 45 seconds, so they're doing really well on time. So they're done taking a look at it. So Maxie's rocks away. I think they're just looking to draw now. A little upweight. Dan's not really sweeping. He's just keeping an eye on the rock to make sure it gets to where they want it to. And that's going to end up pushing the Murray rock towards the button. So I don't think that's what they wanted. So now, ooh, this could be a really big opportunity for Murray, and they're definitely going to dial that up. Basically, where Steph has the broom is to try and just pick out that Maxi stone, and if they get rid of it and to keep the shooter, it's going to be a score of 4 for Murray, and that is what we call in the curling business a game changer. I think they call that in a lot of businesses. So this is Sean Murray sitting 2, looking for 4 with his last rock third end. Timbers sweeping it here. Now they're digging in. Same line's great. Oh, so there's a drawing for 3. Okay. But they need to make sure it gets to the 4 foot and it's going to end up short. So an opportunity there to really break open the game turns into a score of 2. So a good outcome for Team Murray. Ties the game up, and we'll see what happens next when we come back to the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns presented by DoubleTakeout.com. Welcome back to Oakland, California, where we have a pretty good game shaping up on sheet 2 as a Team Murray of Coyotes has tied things up with 2 in the third. We're tied at 2 between Murray and Team Maxie. Maxie is playing with 3, and the players on the ice come from Coyotes and the Dakota Curling Club from, well, the Capital Curling Club from North Dakota, I believe. Taking a quick trip around the rings. Some interesting games in progress as always, as we are wrapping up pool play in this draw and the next draw. I'll let you guys know what some of the implications are in just a moment in that regard. But going from right to left again, we have Team McDonald's with the Red Rocks facing off against Team Leclerc. It looks like it's all Leclerc right now, up 6-0 after three ends. And McDonald's is a really solid squad. They've made the playoffs, if not the finals, the past couple of years. Sheet three, we have a tie game after three between Team Pomeroy of Utah Oval, sorry, Oval Curling Club of Utah and Team Barajas of San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And then on sheet four, another close contest between Team Endicott's of Coyotes taking on Team Sidians of Coyotes, Denver, and San Francisco. Sidians with the Yellowstones, Endicott with the Reds, and Endicott has a 1 point lead, 3-2. And on sheet five, this is going to shape up to a pretty good contest between Team Grow of Wine Country and Coyotes playing the Blue Rocks, taking on Team Howells of Hollywood with the Yellowstones. Howells is up 4-1, and it's still early in this game after three. So let's return back to our feature sheets as looks like Brandon's shot is underway here, in progress. We're in the fourth end here, so we're going to take a 5-minute break after this fourth end, as halftime, and teams can play up to 8 ends of regulation. So that Murray Stone is hanging on the edge, and it looks like Murray asked if they could hit it, and they're opting to draw around with Dan's Nets Stone here, his third. So we're nearing the end of pool play here. We have three pools, two teams of five, or sorry, two pools of 5 teams, and one pool of 4 teams. That's led to some uh, some adjusting in terms of the number of games and like how many draw shots, draws to the button each team has. But at the end, the top 2 teams from each pool advances to the playoffs, and then they're seeded based on their results. The first 2 seeds, number one, number two, get a bye to the semifinals, and then the remaining 4 teams will face off in a quarterfinal tonight at about 8:20. And you can check all this out at bondspieler.com under the standings option. So as we see, Brandon's second stone here, looking to draw rounds, and it does pretty good business. So Murray and Maxie are playing in Pool B. Murray is undefeated, 3-0 so far, and so I believe they will be the top seed out of Pool B. And then Maxie is in the driver's position for the second seed out of Pool B with a 2-1 record. But right behind Maxie is Team Grow with a 1-1 record. So Grow needs to win and maybe a little luck to see if they can advance in the pool. Looking at Pool B, we have a three-way logger jam at the top right now. We have Barajas, Endicott, and Sidians all at 2-1. And then Pomeroy is just a step behind at 1-1. So I think Pomeroy has an outside chance to make the playoffs, and definitely looks like between Barajas, Endicott, and Sidians, they will find a way to advance. Again, Barajas is playing Pomeroy, and then Endicott is playing Sidians. So between Endicott and Sidians, one team is going to finish 3-1, and so that they'll definitely advance. And then there could be 3 teams at 2-2 in Pool A. And then in Pool C, the 4-team pool, we have Team McDonald currently at 2-0. And then we have 2 teams, Feldman and Leclerc, at 1-1. And we're definitely going to see them with the late game. And also Pomeroy, I say, has an outside chance. He actually has 2 games remaining, so if he wins both games, he could finish near the top of the pool. So just a very fascinating situation. You can see the standings again at bondsfeeler.com. So turning our attention back to the game where uh, Wagner has thrown her stone. It chips the red, kind of knocks him around a little bit, but it still looks to be Murray sitting 3 in the house. You got 2 behind the tee line, kind of on the bottom right of the screen from this view, and they had that one red just kind of hanging on by a thread at the top of the screen. So it looks like Murray is going to try and put one in the top of the house as Larson's rock makes its way down the ice. She's not happy with it, as you can kind of see her face in the background there. Oh, and then she kind of puts her hands in her mouth. Sweepers are just kind of walking it down. Uh, it's going to be a little deep, and actually way too deep. It's going to go through the house, out of play. So I think Michelle, not Michelle, I think Steph knew that was not going to be the shot. So now Maxie has a chance to, I think, draw around the center stones. This is Wagner's second stone, I believe. Saying hard line. This is going to be really close. It's going to just chip off of the red and then roll into the top of the house. So Wagner holding the broom at the top of her head, above her head, I think just kind of acknowledging that it was a very tight shot. So Murray's going to try the same shot that Larson just threw. I think just looking to draw to the top of the 12 foots, maybe biting the 8 foots from this view, really to make it hard for Maxie to get to the house that way. Although Maxie will be able to maybe tap that yellow that's in the near the end of the word black, the letter K, and the word Black Lives Matter, and tap that yellow back to score a single. So this is Sean Murray's first here in the fourth. So this line looks pretty good. It's going to settle in as a tight guard, not touching the house. And so now I think Maxie's not going to take on the raise. It looks like he's going to try and draw around his own yellow and sit in the top 4 foot there. Actually, I think maybe the raise is still in play, or maybe that's a plan B, depending on how much the rock curls, because it looks like we're looking at maybe a rock and a half a curl just from this angle. But facing 2 in the house, this is the first of 2 skip stones from Fred Maxey with a hammer. Saw a little bit of a positive release there where you just extend your arm a little bit to add a little more oomph. So it over curled, I believe. So the raise was the shot, and I over curled on them. I think Dan tried to hold the line and just over curled on them. And so now Murray's going to try to draw and I think put one in the top 8. You don't want to go too. You don't want to go deeper than that and give Maxie a chance to score multiple points, I believe. And so, looking for some guard weight. This is Sean Murray with his last here in the fourth. So this to be a little up. It's going to settle in on the top 4 foot. So not a bad shot. Although if Maxie were to double out those, well, I don't think he wants to double out the Reds. They're looking at a possible double, but he can't just hit that and score a point automatically. If he hits it wrong, the red that's in the back could be shot stone, as you can see from this overhead. So I think he wants to hit and roll towards the center, and just to secure the single point that way, as Fred Massey cleans his glide path and then gets set. It's really good to see, the preparation of stepping into the hack, and then you want to push out towards the broom, as Fred does here with his last. Looking for a hit and roll for one. Team Maxie, last shots. This is actually going to crash. Oh my goodness. So it's going to be a steal of 3 with that unfortunate crash on the guard. So it's been a close game so far, but that might break things open for Team Murray. They're up 5-2, and we'll see how they do when we come back for the second half of the game. When we come back to the 2024 MoPac mixed playoffs, playdowns, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And coverage of the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns is being brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. DoubleTakeout.com is a curling stat geeks haven. Uh, Visitors to the site can see the rankings crafted by proprietor Ken Pomeroy, who updates the site throughout the curling season to rank the top men's, women's, and I believe mixed doubles teams. People can check it out for themselves at doubletakeout.com. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns presented by DoubleTakeout.com. We have one game that wrapped up early, as you can tell from the scoreboard on sheet one. Team Leclerc uh, jumped up on top of Team McDonald. Leclerc with the yellow rocks took the 7-0 lead over Team McDonald. And so that four-person pool, four-team pool is going to be, I guess, 5 teams. I'll double check. But that definitely makes the pool situation interesting for Team McDonald. They're in Pool C. It's a four-person pool, a four-team pool. I'll do the words right. And that concludes McDonald's pool play as well as McDonald's. Both Leclerc and McDonald ended at 2-1. So, and then Team Feldman is currently at 1-1, but they could play a spoiler depending on how their last two games. Well, Feldman has one more game at 5 o'clock. So Feldman could play a spoiler depending on how their late game goes. Sheets 2 is our feature game. Ross and play. Team Murray stole 3 points in the fourth end to take a 5-2 lead over Team Maxie, the 2022 champions of this event. Sheets C, the contest between Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling of Utah and Dallas Fort Worth. Kind of a very tight affair. Through 4, Pomeroy is up 3-2 over Team Barajas of San Francisco Bay Area. On sheet D, another close game between Team Endicott of Coyotes and defending champs Sidians of Coyotes, Denver and San Francisco. It's currently Sidians with the yellow rots holding the 4-3 edge over Endicott. And then on sheet E or 5, this looks to be a battle between Team Row of One Country Coyotes, Blue Rocks trailing Team Howells of Hollywood, Yellow Rocks up 5-1 Howells. So again, you can check out all the scores and the standings at bondspieler.com, where we see Brandon's, I believe, last rock here coming down the way, just like a train a coming round the bend. So it looks like Murray is in a pretty good position here, especially after scoring those 3 points in that last end. Maxie does have the hammer. We are in the fifth end of potentially 8 ends of regulation. Teams can choose to resign early, and Murray is up 5-2 as the net stone is underway from Michelle Wagner. And it can be a challenge to play as a 3-person team. As I mentioned, there's a lot of endurance that players need to have. You know, there's only one sweeper per rock, and so that means it's all on that one sweeper to really get the job done, unless someone comes up to help. And that's a bit harder than having someone just jump up, or someone be next to you. So looking at the situation in the house, Murray is sitting 2 right now, front and center, behind cover. And it looks like Murray, I think, is looking to maybe put up a guard just to kind of close off some of the paths to the button. As Steph Larson smoothly releases the stone and it glides down the ice. Now they're sweeping, I think, mainly to help hold the line. Now they're helping for distance. It's going to be close. I think if they just chip off of that yellow, that would be a good outcome. And it's going to settle in right on top of the yellow there, kind of a corner freeze. So some staggered center guards. And so now I think Maxie is going to draw here, but he can also look to open things up. And I think that's what he's going to do here. There's not a great way to open it up. I think he wants to just hit the red onto yellow, calling for a peel weight. Looking to peel one or two of these rots out of the way. Gets, oh, goodness. So it does open things up, but also with the rots ricocheting about, it hit one of the reds into the top of the house. So now Murray is sitting three front and center, uh, and those rots are somewhat open. If Maxie had the shot now, he'd be able to hit those two reds in the front, make those go away, and then it would just be one Murray stone. And I think Murray is going to try to deny Maxie that opportunity, looking to draw to be pretty much a guard, I believe. It actually is going a little deep, and so this actually is going to maybe knock the rots around a little bit, and I think Maxie needs to take those on, and that's what he's doing. I think just looking to nose hit the red. Possibly if there's a double in the offing, that would be a bonus for Team Maxie as Michelle throws her last rock here in the fifth end, doing in turn counterclockwise or clockwise move. It's two of the reds moving. One of the reds, the one that was the shot stone, threw the house out of play. Um, the other red kind of squirted to the side, the bottom of the screen from this view. And so it definitely does improve the situation. It does spread things out, which does benefit Murray somewhat. And so it looks like the are going to just maybe draw. And if they tap one of the reds back, I think that's the call. As Murray makes his way down the way. Here's Murray's first here without the hammer in the fifth. Looking to, I think, just a gentle tap. This is, I think, oh, it just glances off that guard, rolls into the house. And so now Murray is sitting four. So the broom is down. Sorry about that. This is the equipment from the Bay Area Curling Club's house setup, and we definitely appreciate the cameras and the equipment. Again, they've been very welcoming. And another shout out that I've been doing throughout the weekend to the volunteers from the club, the teams who are volunteering their time to help, do their part this weekend. The head ice official, and yep, sorry about that. Did chips one of the reds out of the way. And so now it looks like Murray's going to want to put that back just based on where Larson has the broom for the skip. looking for a draw. Let's time this. Let's time this mother. So just looking for a nice draw way to guard. Looking for, I believe, the top 12. This is over curling. I think they might be trying to tap then, actually. Got about 13-2, so I do believe they are trying to tap that rock back, and they do. So now Murray is sitting 4 again, and Maxie has a difficult shot to make as not Murray, as Murray makes his way back down the ice. Maxie and Wagner are looking at the situation in the house. Both teams are doing okay on time. I think they're a little, well, Murray's a little, I think, behind, and Maxie's a little up just in terms of the time. You'll see that in a second as the broom's down. The call is to draw, I believe, to the edge of the 4 foot for a single as the broom is down. And you can see it on the clocks there that um, Maxie has over 13 minutes to play 3 ends. So that's about 4 minutes plus. And then Murray is about under 3 minutes to play 3 ends. But this is a clutch shot here coming from Fred Maxey, hoping to score just a single, but also not give the game away. Michelle calls for the sweep, and that does get rid of one of the Reds, but then the shooter goes out of play. So that looks to be a score of 3. Uh, Fred's kind of, I think, kind of contemplating as he goes down the ice. We'll wait till they post the score for us to be sure. They're talking about the situation as teams do. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. As I said, teams can choose to resign early if they feel the game's over. You see in the background there is the clock to indicate how much time is remaining in the timeout. There's a timeout every end. And you can see that here. 30 seconds to go before the next end begins. I think maybe Maxie wants to play one more end to see how it's going. They have 20 seconds. It's game on. So while they get set, let's take a quick trip around the reins to see how the other games are going as part of our ongoing coverage of the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns coming to you from San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. As we mentioned earlier, Sheet 1 looks to have been a shutout by Team Leclerc over McDonald, 7-0. Sheet 2 is our feature game where Murray just stole, I think, 2 or 3 points with his last in the fifth end. Sheet 3, this close battle between Team Pomeroy with the Bluestones taking on Team Barajas of San Francisco. Looks like they're near the end on Sheet 3. And there's one Pomeroy stone touching the house. And this Barajas stone looks like it's going to outcount that if it comes to a rest, and I believe it will. Although they're sweeping it out, is it going to hang around? It will hang around in the back 12. And I think if that's the end of the end, that's just a single point for Barajas to tie things up. So it is all square at 3 on Sheet 3. And Pomeroy will have the hammer in the sixth end. And then Sheet 4, another close game between Team Endicott with the Redstones taking on Team Sidians. Uh, Sidians took a 1 point lead. They're up 4-3. Looks like they are finishing or about to start the sixth end. And so we'll wait to see what score they post. And then sheet 5, the contest between Team Grow of One Country and Coyotes with the Blue Roster down 5-1 from by Team Howells of Hollywood with the Yellow Rocks. So all these contests again are being updated on vonspieler.com. You can check it out there. To our feature game, where Dan is getting sets. The 3-person team, as their lead is unfortunately unable to make the event today. This is Dan's second. There are 2 Murray stones in the house, really kind of pushing Maxie to either try to ignore them and try to generate some offense, or to take them on and perhaps get drawn into a takeout game. As we're now in the sixth end, and Murray is up by 8-2. So Maxie and Dan go around the corner guard partly, and Murray is opting to ignore that with Brendan's first stone. And this needs to get over a little bit. It's going to end up as a half guard, it looks like from this view. Checking out the overhead view, it is so Murray was sitting 2, and it is now Murray sitting shots 1 and 3, and Maxie sitting the second point. And I believe that Dan is going to hit and roll, perhaps, with a clockwise delivery there. So I'm going to hit the red, push out of the way. And then the shooter itself is going to roll to the wing and settle in on the edge of the 12-foot. It's going to just kind of spin along the circumference of that ring. Got to use the word circumference, which is the word of the day. So it's Murray sitting 1-3, Maxie sitting 2-4, and I think Murray wants Brandon to take out that Maxie second shot. And a hit and roll. Rolls a little far, and it does set up a potential double if Maxie would want to take it on. But Maxie needs rocks in play. He needs rocks in play. So I think looking to draw into the pile, but it's light, and Maxie jumps out to help. Make sure it goes the distance. Looking for speed. It's all alone in a time of need, because it's racing and pacing and plotting the course. Anyway, with muscle bound force. That's a song, by the way, folks. So now Murray is sitting 2, and looking to be in a pretty good position here as Steph Larson throws her first shot here. That's a nice low delivery. It's always kind of fun to watch different people's deliveries. There's not one perfect delivery. I guess it's kind of like golf, where there's not like a universal, not a universally best golf swing. There's always some variation, and there is the curling delivery too. There's some foundational elements that a good delivery should have, but it doesn't have to be scientifically precise. There's a certain art to the delivery, just like there is a science and an art to the game itself. So this is Wagner's second. I think just looking to go into the pile there, hit and roll a bit. It does hit and roll, imparts itself on the button behind 4 stones. That was a great shot there from Wagner. I think it drew a bit of a reaction from the warm room crowd. And by the way, just a reminder, speaking of the warm room crowd, if you're here in the Bay Area, you can come down to the club before 5 today and get a free flu or COVID vaccination. This is a partnership effort by the club, San Francisco Bay Area, and MoPac, our region, USA Curling, and a group that wants to KO flu and COVID. Always have to double check the name of the group. This event is going to be at the club tomorrow as well, 11 to 5 tomorrow. And yeah, again, it's free, but if you have Medicaid or Medicare and or private insurance, you're asked to bring your card down to check for coverage. And otherwise, the vaccination is free for all takers. So let's look at the overhead view here. Murray just kind of put up. They are calling it timeout. The timeout's been called. The teams make their way down the ice. Let's see if we can listen in, because that's something we keep trying to do. So the timeout is over. We can sort of hear them. We can hear the other sheet really well. So let me tamp that down. There we go. I'll turn that up a little bit. So I think the concern was that Maxie wanted to put the rock in a position that hopefully would help them try to score multiple points. There's only 2 ends after this end, so he needs to get 2 here, and maybe try to um, score a couple more in the remaining ends. This to try and set up a situation to score several points. This is going to turn out on the light side, which I think does prevent a run back. Um, which let's look at the overhead here. So they did. They wanted. I think when they said they didn't want to leave a shot behind, um, and I'll turn off the clocks when I can, when I remember. Um, I think he wanted to prevent Murray from doing an angle run back to hit the red on the red on the red on the yellow or something like that, and just really blow. away any opportunity for Maxie to score multiple points or even a single point. And by the way, the clinic is being brought to you by Coaching You Up, the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, MoPac, and USA Curling. Again, this event is happening until 5 today at the club in Oakland by the airport. If you're in town, you're invited to stop by for a flu or COVID vaccination. And if you can't make today, we'll be here tomorrow from 11 to 5 p.m. So the broom's down. This is also a situation where Murray doesn't need to score points here. I think he wants to just make it hard for Max to score 2 points. And so I think what the call is to draw and put up a guard and just prevent access by Maxi into the house. So the broom's down. You can see Steph kind of hiding behind the overhead cameras. And this is the first of two skip stones from Sean Murray without the hammer here in the sixth end. And again, that's just to block off the path. So now Maxi is looking for perhaps a setup shot. Yes, I believe that's the case. They're looking at that rock on the right there. Let's look at the overhead camera. So if you look at the overhead camera, I think what Maxi wants to do is to hit the inside of that red on the bottom of the screen and have it roll, have the yellow shooter roll towards the center of the house, just to set up 2 points. And that does seem to be the best way to do it right now. Looking at both sides of the sheet, the top and bottom, getting access to that 4 foot ring is pretty tricky right now. And I think the hit and roll is the best way to, the best shot, especially for someone of Fred Maxi's caliber. So he's going to need to throw a decent amount of weight at it, probably uh, hack weight, I would believe, as Fred's shot is away. Actually, this is up weight. This is more like control weights as Dan sweeps the heck out of it and just hits the outside of that red, and the shooter rolls away. The red also rolls away. So I think he was trying to in off, but he also could have been just looking to clear a path to the house. And by the way, good afternoon, Trevor. Top of the day to you. So now this is Murray's last as it's shots away. And I think just looking to block off the other draw path on the left side of the screen here. And it does guard it somewhat, but the path is still there to get to the full 4 foot on that side for a second shot, a second point. Wagner has the broom down. That is a decent chunk of ice. Looking for about 3.5 feet of curl, I believe, or they're looking to do the in off. Let's see what Fred Massey has in mind here. Just based on where the broom is, I'm thinking they could be going to hit the inside of that yellow that Wagner has the broom next to. And he's asking for a slightly different line. And this is going to be the in off as the stone makes its way down the sheets. This is a crucial shot to stay alive here. Hits the inside. It's going to roll. This looks pretty good, but it needs to sit. Wagner is sweeping it, and it didn't need to be swept. So it's just a single. It was a really good effort by Fred Maxey. I don't know if the sweeping would make a huge difference in the game. And that's going to be it. It's going to be handshakes as Maxey gets one to make the final 8-3. So an exciting game by all involved. Let's look at the table to see how this affects the game. Both Maxey and Murray were in Pool B. This is the last game for Pool B. So Pool B, Murray finishes at 4-0 and definitely punches his ticket to the semifinals or the quarterfinals at the very least with a 4-0 record. Grow of Wine Country Coyotes is at 1-1. Maxie is at 1-1. Uh, Looks like Grow is going to fall to 1-2. So Grow is not out of it yet. And then Howells, well, looks to tie perhaps to bring the game to bring the record to 2-2. So we could have a logjam at 2-2 by the time the final draw is done. Final draw pool play is done, starting tonight at 5. So, and again, all those are at bondspieler.com or bondspilier, as I like to call it. Let's take a look around the rings and see what games are still in action. I do believe we might want to peek in on the Sheet C game, which is just getting started. We will shift to that in just a moment. It looks really good to me, at least. Again, recapping, there's 3 games off the ice right now. Sheet A, going from right to left, was Team Leclerc of Coyotes, shutting out Team McDonald's of Coyotes, Seattle Granite, and One Country, 7-0. Sheet 2, our feature game, was a fairly dominating win by Team Murray of Coyotes, taking down Team Maxie of Coyotes, Capital, and San Francisco Bay Area. Sheets 3, we're going to get to in a moment. That is a tie game between Team Palmyra of Oval Curling and Dallas Fort Worth, taking on Team Barajas of San Francisco. Sheet 4, this game, Sheet 4 ended the contest between Team Siggins and Endicott. Let's do that. Siggins with the Yellow Rocks took a 8-3 win over Endicott. And on Sheet 5, this game is very much in progress, but as we mentioned during the recap of the standings, Team Howells is holding a fairly sizable lead, 8-1 over Team Grow. And again, all those games are being updated on bondspieler.com. So let us shift our focus to Sheet 3. When we shift our focus to Sheet 3, it'll become obvious. Here's Sheet 3. I don't have a scoreboard for this, I believe, because it was not updated for this event. So apologies, but you can see the score at the top of the screen. Team Pomeroy scored the first point, but since then it's been back and forth, with Barajas scoring last with a single in the 5th to make the score 3-all. Looks like we are at Vice, Skip Stones, or Third Rocks. We get reset here. So, we're second stones. Apologies, as I see David Hurst for the Oval Curling Club getting set in the hat. It is a fairly open house currently, as there are 2 Barajas Rocks in the house, one on the wing, and one in the back 8 foot, 12 foot zone as David Hurst makes his delivery. So I think just looking to draw and I think sit on top of the yellow. And so, yeah, we are very much in second stones right now as we see Eric Chirilla Jensen sitting in the hat or crouched in the hat, I guess. I think looking to just hit that blue that is sitting on the right edge of the button. It's going to hit the red, hit the blue out, and the shooter's also going to roll through the house, settle in play on the back side of the sheets. So David Hurst has been curling for 2 years, uh, and despite a relative few years of experience, he's definitely done very well. He won the Rocky Mountain Bonspiel at Ogden Curling Club and this past year, throwing fourth rocks. He was also the throwing fourth rocks when his rink won the 2023 MoPac Arena National Playdowns, and his squad went to Arena Nationals where they finished with a 3-2 record. I think just outside of the playoffs. And so Dave's rock there ends up just yeah, a very tight guard. It doesn't look to be in the house. And Eric's second stone coming now. He started curling in 1999. End of list. So looking to draw around that guard that was just put up. This is a little heavy. Is this sitting down really nicely though? It's going to sit down in the back 4 foot. And so I think this is going to turn into a bit of a draw game as Ken Pomeroy directs the vice for his squad, Heather Cook, to just draw down on top of that rock that Chirilla Jensen just threw. And so Heather Cook has been curling for 4 years out of the Dallas Fort Worth club in Texas, earning a silver medal at Arena Nationals in 2022 as a second for Team Walsh. And then in 2023, Heather won gold at Arena Nationals as second for Team Segovia from the Curling Club Houston. And so this is going to be a little heavy. It does hit the yellow shot stone to the back 12, where it is now third shots. Um, so Pomeroy is now sitting shot, but it is a very lonely blue rock in the center of that sheet, representing La Liga Latina de Curling. We're going to see Kate Garfinkel now come down the way. She is the third. Her curling journey started off in 2007 at the Philly Curling Club. Also had stints at Hollywood Curling from '08 to 11, Windy City from 19 to 20, and then she's also been at San Francisco since 2011. This is going to hit the blue back onto the yellow in the back, and it jams. And so now it's looking to see what might be second shots. This could be shaping up to a multiple point end here. We're in the seventh end. They posted the score. So I think they're looking to hit and roll. I do see Team Grow getting off the ice. Let's see if I can peek on the score on sheet 5. All 5 sheets are in play for this game. It was exciting. So I don't know if they posted a final score. Okay, they did post a final score. It ended after 6 with Howell scoring 2 in the 6th to take the win 10-1. So this is the last game on the ice, and it's a good one. I'm glad we were able to check out this bonus coverage as Pomeroy opts not to hit the yellow, is instead drawing to the top of the forefoot, it looks like. I think they may have wanted to be a little deeper with Heather Cook's second stone there. So Barajas has the hammer here in this end. I think Cage is being asked to just hit that blue out. Sorry. So it does hit the blue back. And so now we're to skip stones. And one moment. All right, one second. I'm going to reset the cameras. There we go. So now I believe that Ken Palmer is going to take on that hit and roll and be sitting 1, maybe 2. Ken Pomeroy, the skip of Team Pomeroy, he curls out of the Oval Curling Club of Utah, has 10 years under his belt, was the 2016 Rocky Mountain Bonspiel champion, also the C event champion at the 2022 High Bonspiel. That's going to hit, okay, not too bad. It hits and rolls the yellow to the back. One of the yellows goes away. And so now it looks like Pomeroy is sitting 1 and 2, maybe 1 and 3. Looking kind of at the thicker blue line, or the darker blue line in the back of the house is kind of a guide. Looks maybe a little yellow from here. But as I say a lot, the cameras don't lie necessarily, but they don't tell the whole story. Um, as you can kind of tell, this camera needs a little tweak on the focus or a lens clean. So the people on the ice probably know more than we do about the story here. We have Jesus Barajas coming down for his first 2 skip stones with a hammer here in the 7th. Jesus was a participant at the America's Challenge in 2021, representing Team Mexico. Also represented California at the 16 and 17 Pacific International Cup, some top flight international events. And I think just looking to maybe draw, ooh, let's say they're going to the bat. I think they would want to make contact on the blue in the bat, and they're trying to coach it over. And it is going to make contact. It's going to tap it back. A little contact between the players. If the team throwing the rock wants to keep sweeping, they can. So an interesting situation there. Uh, I did it again. Gonna switch back and forth. Oh, okay, we're back to sheet three. Wanted to make sure we had the scoreboard working. So Team Pomeroy here has the last rock without the hammer, and I think they're looking to draw. This is a very tricky situation. It looks like they want to sit on top of that yellow in the back, uh, but a miss here could open the door for Barajas to score two. Again, looking at end game scenarios here, this is the seventh end. So if Pomeroy uh, has a hammer tied in the eighth end, it really favors them. If Barajas scores one to tie the game, that's not bad. If they score two, it makes the situation a little trickier for Pomeroy. And this looks like it's going to sit right on top of the yellow, maybe push it back. They don't want any roll, and there is no roll. So now Barajas has a draw for a single point. I They could be trying a slightly steal shot as they kind of gesture with a broom. They could try to uh, pick out that blue stone that's right next to de curling, um, and then get potentially two. There's a chance that it could jam on the back, and they would just get maybe one. But this, like I said, we're in the end game scenario here. They could potentially give up one here. It definitely makes the odds a little harder for them to score um, 2 points in the final, two to tie, three to win. So they're looking at the line here, I believe. I think they're going to go for it as Brajas, I think, gestured with his broom about the line. So they're not set up for a hit necessarily. I think they're going to try a heavy draw, and if it jams just for one, that's fine. If it's able to pick out that blue for a second point, so much the better. Just like Strawberry Wine, which I don't know if that's the lyrics to the song. I just know something happened at 17. All right, this is Jesus Brajas' second here. Last rock, seventh ends. Looking for the heavy draw. The potential downside is if the shooter rolls away. This is a little looks pretty good, but it was really close. It does jam on the yellow in the back, and so it is just the single for Barajas. It's enough to tie things up as Pomeroy has the hammer coming home in the eighth end. We're all square. We're going to take a brief moment for me to catch my breath because I've been talking a lot, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to our bonus coverage from the 2024 MoPac Mixed Playdowns, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club and brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. This is the eighth and final end. We're tied. Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling of Utah and Dallas Fort Worth has a hammer coming home, but it's been very much a back and forth affair. It looks like teams have been trying to draw for the most part to try and find some advantage. And it looks like after Team Barajas put up a high guard, that would have been by Christina Ludo, the lead. Looks like the lead for Team Pomeroy, Carrie Lambert, is being asked to draw around that. They're swinging for a line. It looks like it's going to be definitely around that guard. Now it's just to see how deep they can bury it. And that ends up as a center line guard. We haven't seen too many specifically center line guards, so just a reminder that there's a new rule in effect on the top levels of competition called the no tick rule, which is like the five rock free guard zone rule, where with a center line guard, uh, an opposing team cannot dislodge that center line guard off the center line. The penalty is the offending stone is removed and the displaced stone is replaced or put back in place. So we see Christina's second stone here. Christina started curling in 2014 at San Francisco, where she's been rocking the house ever since. And that draws around the outside and settles into the back 8 foot. Looks like a pretty solid shot there. Next stone coming from Carrie, who's been curling for 10 years out of Dallas Fort Worth, winning silver at arenas in 2022. And she's competed in several bonspiels and the Mid America Curling Association's club playdowns in recent years. So I think they were just looking to draw around that guard that was put up. This is looks a little heavy to me. It's gonna, I think, make some tap contact in the back, but it slows down pretty nicely. I think the teams have a pretty good read of the ice. This is my first time really looking at the ice for this week. And so now we have the first rock coming from Barajas' second, Eric Chiarella. Eric Chiarella Jensen, to use his full name. And so it looks like they want to try and draw on top of that Pomeroy rock, and it looks pretty close. It's going to, I think, make some contact. Ooh, it freezes right on top. And so I think Pomeroy will need to make a play on that at some point. So now with the guard zone rule over, he's calling on David Hurst to blow things up. Davis started curling after trying to sign up for bobsledding at the Utah Olympic Legacy Foundation, but they were sold out. So he tried his next best thing with an opening for curling. Let's see if he's got the peel in business here. See if he's appealing. Hits the yellow on the blue. Oh, that I think was a little unlucky. It runs one of the rocks into the back of the house, and it basically squirts the yellow undercover, and that blue is exposed now. So it opens things up. And so when you're tied with a hammer coming home, a common strategy is to just keep a very open house. So you have a draw for the single point and the win. And so that shot uh, may have looked a little unusual to me. It definitely did the job of opening things up. This rock is over curling, and this could set up a possible double for David Hurst to take on. Um, right now, it is Baraja sitting 2-3-4, but I think Pomeroy could try to take on the double if they chose. And that seems to be what they're set up for. clocks are obscured. Let me see if I can bring the clock on in a moment. So looking for the takeout, yelling for hard. Gets one. Oh, goodness. It jams, and the first yellow rolls on top of the blue and taps it right on the lid. So a bit unlucky there. So there's the clock. We'll just keep it there for the rest of the ends. So Barajas is sitting one, looking to draw to make it harder for Pomeroy to pluck out that yellow that is sitting shot right now. Uh, Pomeroy has just under 2 minutes, so they seem to have a decent amount of time remaining in the end. As we see the net straw coming from Heather Cook. I think looking to tap that yellow out, looking for, I would guess, back line weights, even hack weight. This is hack weight. It's around the yellow. It's going to chip out the yellow, send it to the back eight. The shooter itself is going to roll to the back 12. And so now it is Palmer is sitting 1-2, but there are four Barajas counters after that. So it looks like they called a timeout. Barajas did, so they're going to go down and think about it. This is a situation where they have a couple of choices. They could maybe put the rock. They're looking to draw around. I think to sit like maybe top button, um, which would be good because it would be very difficult for Pomeroy to get it out. They're also maybe looking to. I think that's what they're looking to do. I was thinking they could go back, and actually, that seems to be what Christina Ludo is looking towards. Basically, just reduce the scoring area, and also if it would be shot stone, then Pomeroy would probably have to make a play on it. Um, and then also going to the back four might have the virtue of being a slightly easier draw than having to try to draw around two rods in the top of the house. The back four is the shot stone. So I think if they played to the back shot, if they played the shot stone, just reduce the scoring area, and then trying to force. Yeah, and then Pomeroy could sit on top, and then if it's a very tricky situation. The people in the warm room were talking about the possible strategy too. That's one of the great things about the sport is that there's a lot of different approaches depending on the ice conditions, depending on the caliber of the players you're with, depending on the caliber of your opponents. Definitely makes for some very interesting scenarios. So this is Kate Garfinkel. This is her last, I believe. So I think they chose to. Oh, this is going to be on the guard. Oh man. So of the choices, they chose poorly, to quote Indiana Jones in Last Crusade. Uh, just too much ice. So now Pomeroy, I think, can kind of close the door a little bit by putting up like a high rock as Heather Cook delivers her last stone. This is looking pretty good. They want to keep it high, and it does stay in the center of the 8 foot ring. And so now I think the choice for Barajas is to park the yellow on top of that back four blue. Both teams have plenty of time to throw two rocks, as you can see by the clock. Um, just a fairly good draw of games all around, and like very glad we were able to tune into this Pomeroy game. This Pomeroy did not have a feature game on the broadcast, but this is the second time they've been on as bonus coverage, and they've been Donnybrooks both times. As we see Jesus Barajas, I think looking to clean up the center there, looking to hit the blue. I think maybe get both of them moving. This is a little wide, so it's going to, I think, clip the blue and runs the blue. Okay, some pinball action, but it definitely pushes that third blue stone to the back to the 8 foot, or it is now, I believe, fifth. So Pomeroy is sitting 1-2, and I think they're going to try and basically put that rock back in place. And just a reminder that our we have two more draws today. Our last draw of pool play starts at around 5 p.m. In just about just over 90 minutes, and then our quarterfinals begin at about 8:20 tonight. So all these games are going to be broadcast on the MoPac YouTube channel. We hope you tune in. This is Ken Pomeroy's first here with the hammer here in the eighth and final end of regulation. Looking to this is coming in a little hot. Look, it's probably going to go back to the button there. Ooh, goodness. This could give Barajas an opportunity. Um, Basically, he needs to hit that blue back on the nose and it would sit shot, I believe. Or if they do they want any sort of roll with this? Right, but to hit it right on the nose, it'd be shot, right? Yeah, yeah. But then also the draw, yeah. But it needs to be shot, or it's game over. Uh, Barajas has plenty of time. He just they both use their timeouts. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So the warm rooms noted that Pomeroy has 40 seconds, and so ideally you'd be back to, yeah, or at least maybe on by the hog line. So if you want to call a shot, you have, yeah. But this needs to be shot. This is going to be close. It's probably going to roll wide, and it does. And so that's the game there. As it looks like Pomeroy scores two or three to claim the win there. Handshakes all around. Um, another excellent game. You guys have tuned into some fun games here on our broadcast. And just as a recap for pool, just checking out pool play, Pomeroy is in pool A. And after that game, I believe so too. Right now, looking at the pool, Signings is done. They're 3-1, and so they've pretty much punched their ticket. There could be a possible. Um, well, I think they're definitely in. Pomeroy needs a win to kind of break a log jam. They're currently at 2-1. They have one more game to go, and then they're going to be facing Team Mewers of. I'll look it up later. So, a very interesting scenario here as we conclude our coverage from this draw of the 2024 MoPac Mits Playdowns. We'll definitely be back at about 5 tonight. And when we do, this event will be brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Doubletakeout.com is a site where people can check out the curling rankings of the top men's and women's and mixed doubles teams. You can see how your favorite team stacks up against the competition, all at doubletakeout.com. And so for now, for all of us here at MoPac, San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, and doubletakeout.com, this is your host, Ryan Olson, saying good afternoon and good curling. And we hope to see